It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margee McGee, and I am with my lovely friend and co-host.
Hello, I am Ramona Ramirez, and I am recording today from Portland, Oregon, where I'm up visiting my family. So 50% of A Therapeutic Dose is on the road.
I love it.
Yeah.
We, of course, are going to talk Real Housewives of Orange County. However, I mean, this was a pretty great week in Bravo TV. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City came back, which was a gem, I thought. Did you enjoy it?
I was sad when the episode ended. It came in and it came in hot. It came in strong. They understand the assignment, and I loved every minute of it, with the exception of Mary Cosby. But
it's so funny because I do want to talk to you about that because Mary Cosby makes me laugh and hate myself because now I remember she's a horrible person, but everyone on these shows is a horrible person. So I'm trying to come to terms with, I can't tell if I'm justifying my giggling at Mary Cosby as if she's a sitcom character and a racist on the side, or if I'm giggling at a racist and putting gas on a terrible fire.
I understand. I mean, just watching someone in such a different reality from everybody else it's just mind blowing to me. Like my mouth is open, like I'm watching a train wreck, literally.
She does, as far as like a therapeutic angle though, she does do a pretty good job of calling people out real directly. Like when she was talking to Heather Gay and she was just like, no, you made a choice to be friends with Jen Shah. So you take responsibility for that. I was like,
very fair.
But anyways, we can dig in more to that as the season progresses. But I thought that was a pretty solid season opener from the Salt Lake City ladies.
I do too. I really do. Barlow I really hope that she doesn't veer into Heather Dubrows territory. And it seems like
she's too admittedly trash to do that. She loves her fast food and Kit Kats for breakfast. She's not talking about caviar and Nobu. She's,
You're right. She's not branding everything at Sundance with
she's barking at people to like move that poof. We have to turn over the space. Like she just isn't that serious.
Can someone mop the floor? Can someone mop the floor?
Oh my God. Good job. And I love the new woman whose name I can never remember. Monica.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's great with her like stupid purse that looks like something I would buy at a toy store for a 6-year-old. I love that it costs $7,000. Like this is why I watch these shows. I'm like, oh, that's bougie. I'm supposed to covet that. And it makes me giggle.
Oh my God.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was, the new girl is going to stir up some shit.
She went head on into I turned Jen into the police, basically.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
I became a witness. Wow.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so excited that it's back. And the fact that I didn't know it was coming back until like days before the premiere made it even better because I wasn't waiting. It was just like a nice surprise. A legitimate nice surprise. So
it truly was.
Yeah, I'm stoked. And then we had another exhausting episode of Orange County last night.
Yes, from the snow-capped mountains of Utah where we got to laugh and enjoy, we head back to the beaches of Orange County and Mexico with these just, on-brand monsters, all of them.
Absolutely.
Heather at the head of the pack, but all of them.
Yes.
And that first scene just landed it all with Shannon going to Dr. Moon in her LuLaRoe leggings. Did you notice those? Like charcoal gray with like huge yellow flowers. I was like, ah.
I think they're lemons that make up a flower. So those are her real for real leggings.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Well, they look awful for what it's worth. They do. Shannon, that is a bad choice of merch to put on the air because they were distractingly ugly.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, what are your takes on the Dr. Moon appointment?
Look, I mean, obviously, I hated it. As a recovering bulimic, the last thing I want to hear about is fucking colonics. For anyone who's not aware, that is a form of bulimia, like any way that you're emptying your system that is not natural. And if you have eating disorder tendencies, let me just talk about me. I had eating disorder tendencies. I still do. I always will. And colonics were something that I could get addicted to that feeling. And it's disgusting. And it does, for what it's worth, if anyone's thinking of spending their time and money doing that, it does nothing. I didn't ever I had, it's like going in a sauna. You're like, your stomach is flat for 5 minutes and then you take a breath of oxygen and your body's back to what it was.
Absolutely.
I was offended by Dr. Moon saying gravity stress. Fuck you. He called Shannon's hanging face and belly gravity stress. I was like, that's called being a human on a planet.
Right.
That relies on gravity to keep us all here.
Exactly. And normal aging. It triggered all of my dormant eating disorder thoughts too. And it flashed back on a time when living in LA in the 2000s was a really interesting experience, when there was like the second wave of self-help, and food began to be, continue to be demonized in Los Angeles. And then colonics are woo-woo medicine. They promise everything. They promise that you're going to be free of depression and toxins. My God, the freedom from toxins, which, hello, thank you, liver. The liver is the ultimate toxin remover. And if we're all lucky enough to have normal functioning livers, then we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Listen, if you have celiac or you're allergic to a food, that's separate. But looking for an end to your stress from a colonic is not the way. And Shannon is looking for the solution to her problems from these outside sources that I think in 12-step rooms, Margie, don't they talk about the three-legged stool? It's like there's a physical component to your recovery, an emotional component to your recovery, and a spiritual component to your recovery. Now, I know that the spirituality can, some people will take that, some people will leave it, that's fine. But maybe in place of the spiritual leg of the stool, you have a community of friends that you are honest with and that help keep you honest. So that could be something. And then the emotional or mental part of your stool is you having the willingness and the commitment to look at your side of the street and your behavior. Because I guarantee, Shannon, if you were to lose all the weight you think you have to lose, if you had no gravity stress, if Dr. Moon fixed every single ailment that you see him for, body, mind, soul, or if he tried to, body, mind, soul, if Shannon isn't doing that work on her own mind, nothing that Dr. Moon does is going to work. That was my big takeaway, is that I just felt sad for her. And I feel like she's taking the easier, softer way, which is...
Well, but this
yes.
was a whole new level, because years ago when she did go to Dr. Moon and do all this ridiculous shit, literally, she stopped doing colonics and all that stuff, it seems. Now what she's doing is predatory. She's going to sell colonics
absolutely
for other people. What is it called? The Sit-olinic? Sit-olinic. So you sit on your toilet, stick a tube up your butthole so Shannon can send her 3 children to college. No, no. The whole thing is so offensive and disgusting. Let's turn shit into gold. It did not make me laugh. It was just like,
dude,
you have 3 daughters and you're like, you're making an eating disorder product. You're such a bummer. And to be fair, Dr. Moon looked enthused / asleep / dead. She was trying to get him, pumped up about this terrible business venture. But yeah, the whole episode. Yeah. I mean, the first scene just started and I was like, and I'm 100% immersed in all of my old eating disorder beliefs and obsessions and all of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The amount of money I spent on algae-based things from Erewhon Market, which is it's like if a health food store and the most expensive Whole Foods you've ever been in your life been into in your life had a baby, that is this supermarket in LA. And it's like the perfect place for Shannon Bedore to shop and hawk her wares.
I mean, the whole like wellness industry in a lot of ways I find to be predatory because it's
Absolutely.
only people with disposable income who can get
Absolutely.
a yoni egg in their pussy or like whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's just not like a real thing. And that being said, in my lifetime from high school to adulthood, I could have put a down payment on a house with the amount of thermal burn pills and products that I bought. So like, you know, it
Absolutely.
works. It appeals to like kind of the most damaged parts of a lot of people
Exactly.
and preys on it for money. Like when I was a waitress making no money, I would like be thrilled when I had enough leftover cash to go buy, you know, Xantrax 3, the most powerful diet pill in America, as it was advertised.
Oh my God, that's
And
right.
P.S. for anybody who's wondering, it didn't work.
It doesn't
So
work. No.
nothing works.
Yeah.
Nothing works except these prescription injections. So that's good to know. But like, now that we know that, don't waste your money on GNC, Erewhon, or God forbid, the Sit-olinic. So
no skinny tea, nothing for God's sake that the Kardashians hawk.
no.
Influencers on Instagram that do not have any credentials, as in a doctor or a registered dietitian, and even a registered dietitian, if they're not science-based, that can be, yes, you know what I'm saying. I don't need to go on to this, but yeah.
Well, even like a registered dietitian, like when I was in New York right after college in the, you know, as my eating disorder was reaching its peaks, I went to see a nutritionist and she was like top of her field. She was on all the morning talk shows. She was great, based in science, all that shit. But if you have an eating disorder, it doesn't fucking matter. Like she gave me an eating plan and I couldn't follow it because I needed to be anorexic and eat nothing or eat everything in the world and throw it up. So her plan of eating like 3 sensible meals a day just did not appeal to my brain at that time.
No.
I had to do other mental health work before I could accept like a regular human being's eating plan for a day.
Well, I mean, you remember when I saw that doctor in quote unquote, quote, air quotes, that doctor, that back doctor in LA, I came in with depression. And instead of going to my psychiatrist, I saw him because other friends in recovery, not necessarily in the program I was in, but in other programs, had gone to him for their respective depressions and they felt better. It's quite possible that my body was quote unquote less inflamed. But yeah, I cut out carbs. I cut out coffee. The reason I cannot eat dark chocolate to this day is because that was the only treat I was allowed. And I lost a fuck ton of weight, which had me very coked up. And I was probably the thinnest I had ever been since I gave up carbs back in the early 2000s. Thank you, Atkins. Yes, it was not sustainable. And the minute I started gaining weight back again, I was panicked as hell. And all the anxiety and depression that I had leading me up to see this doctor in the first place came flying back. And it's because I was focusing purely on this restrictive diet that was supposed to help my back. And I don't know if it did or not. I don't think it did, but it was not sustainable by any means. And so I don't think colonics are going to be the cure-all to anything. And I mean, believe science has proven that they're not going to be.
I have lots of skepticism. I of course believe that every body is different. So whatever works for you works for you. And of course, a 12-step room, as they say, is the last house on the block. Like the reason you and I know about all of these other procedures is because the last thing you want to do is the hard mental health work. And I encourage anyone who can bypass it, have at it, because it's hard and it is, a lifetime commitment in a lot of ways. I have a hard time with I have a hard time with Shannon's business in general. And this added element was just like, oh no, now we're really going to push people to some real unhealthy shit.
And for someone who talks about toxins, who had hospital grade air built into her custom house that she shared with David Bedore when they first were introduced to this franchise, the crystals built in the floor or the doors, whatever, this woman gets fillers and this woman drinks a metric ton of alcohol. I don't know if any human being feels good drinking a metric ton of alcohol.
And she eats salmon and cream cheese. Like everything, it's all just
You know?
insane. It's just and again, if she
The
were happy,
hypocrisy and yes,
yes.
exactly,
If she were
exactly.
happy, I would be curious, more curious about what it is that she does to get what she has. But she seems
Mm-hmm.
tortured and obsessed and miserable and psycho. So I will stay as far away from the Sit-olinic as humanly possible.
My God. My God. Yes, agreed. So then do you have anything else to add about Shannon,
No,
Dr.
I
Moon?
was ready to move on to the next eating disorder trigger, which was bad cookie dough. I was so mad. Like the former professional bulimic in me and the former professional baker in me were both activated. And I was like, how did you make cookie dough look disgusting? How is it possible that I don't want to stick a fist in there and eat it?
Exactly.
Great job, guys. Gross.
Exactly. Oh, we have Jen in the kitchen with her mother who is visiting from Oklahoma. I believe her name is Chris.
I couldn't tell. It was like Kristen or Mimi, or I don't know who was what.
Maybe Mimi is what the grandkids call her, but I believe her name is Chris.
Great. Let's go with that.
Yes. And again, the first thing I wrote down was that Jen's namaste mug continues to trigger me. That typeface is an abomination. That typeface reads Christian girl fall. Where is the felt wide brim hat and the beachy waves looking down at something with a brown low heel boot? I'm sorry.
No, you nailed it. I love it. I didn't even notice the mug, but yes,
no,
it
and
does
it
paint a
just
picture.
speaks to the name of her Fakakta yoga studio. Namaste. She's going to appropriate till the day she dies. And I know it would fall on deaf ears. I don't know.
It's
Oh,
weird because, like with her, it does feel like a performance of sorts. It doesn't feel like she has any deep rooted investment in like the history or the practice, in fact. But then I think about how I'm kind of fine with, I hate Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey, but when she says namaste, I have a different feeling because she learned about yoga and started doing it in jail.
yeah.
So part of me is like, I do feel like the spiritual element must have come into play in her practice, at least when she was on the inside, But I don't feel like Jen, I don't know. I'm with you. I get the sense that it's a costume. It's not any kind of like deep understanding and need to communicate that to the people.
Yeah, I agree. They're talking about the end of Jen's marriage. And it was nice to get a little bit more information from, her mom's perspective. And I was happy to see that her mom seems like all she really wants is for her daughter to be happy. And I think that's what all moms want, is for their children to be happy. I don't know if Jen's going to find that with Ryan. I don't know. I think that Jen knows deep down in her heart what the reality of the situation is, and it's going to be her path. And it sounds like her mom feels the same way. So I don't know. We're putting the pieces together, though, that it looks like her family saw that she was not happy in her previous marriage to Will. So
I got a different vibe because Jen was saying that in the past, her mom has always swooped in to save her whenever she's been in any kind of distress. But she did not do that when Jen started to move away from Will, because Jen was saying something. It's that sentiment that I know very well, where people are just like, if I don't acknowledge that your divorce is happening, then maybe your divorce isn't happening.
Yeah.
And I thought it led to that nice moment at the end of the scene when her mom was like, I'm sorry, I haven't been here for you. But I do think her mom is, as it plays out in that dinner scene later, is going to have a conflicted relationship here because she loves that Will. Oh boy.
Yeah.
She seems like she would marry him. I did like what she said, the mom, whatever her name is. She said, you have to be happy. You can't pretend to be happy. And I thought that was like profound. And I feel like maybe her mom was, that was her gentle way of saying, you weren't happy in your marriage, but this is also weird. Ryan is weird.
He's he is weird. He
He's
is
fucking weird.
Yeah. Oh, then we have the getting ready montage where we see our respective housewives getting ready to go to Via, where they have cotillion, where they have cotillion to
Sure.
attend the launch of Heather's Fireside Network channel. Oh God, living in high def, the high def lifestyle. No.
This montage was, it was what it was. The double mint twins reveal themselves,
My
Jen and
God.
Tamra, in their like neon highlighter blazer dresses. But I did note that when Emily was FaceTiming with Gina, Emily said, I'm going to bring a bottle of Veuve. And I was like, Emily is incredibly thoughtful. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a very generous thing to do for Heather, who later absolutely tries to destroy Emily as if she's some like, black-hearted bitch. Yeah. At the event, the first line out of Heather's mouth is to the planner. She goes, sorry about all the last minute changes. And I was like, you're a monster. You're having a lunch and you made a bunch of last minute changes. Fuck you. Like that's just so why? What could possibly have been so important to have been adjusted? Because honestly, the venue, the setup didn't blow me away. I wasn't like wowed by the table and some flowers on it. She's just such an asshole.
She's her whole personality is purely surface and purely superficial. That's her seeming goal in life, and I cannot imagine how she feels fulfilled by that, because it's always going to be something more. How can I make the next event even more over the top? Again, I understand that we are watching a housewives show in a post-COVID world. The consumption and the waste, the little etched mirrors that are going to be thrown away, or I don't know who's going to save them for posterity, but it felt, and I don't know if it was just because it was Heather last night, it felt offensive to see. It felt like my heart hurt a little bit for the lack of awareness of anything else going on outside of her $55 million bubble. The network that she fucking pays for, Yeah,
In her
anyway.
confessional, she said, it's the first lifestyle network on Fireside platform. And I was like, you just said gibberish.
Mhm.
None of those words made a sentence that had any meaning.
I don't think she knows what they
talking about?
mean.
I don't think so either. It sounds like she memorized the line and is saying it and, whatever. And the party theme is, Heather Dubrows lifestyle, like living life in HD. It's just so, everything is just such a, oh God, she's just ew. And then she admits that her show on the Fireside platform is just an audition because she's like, the more visible you are, the more work you'll get. And so this is my chance to either audition 27 times for something or have my face on this stupid platform that no one's ever going to find all the time. So it's not about community. It's about, propaganda, Heather Dubrow propaganda, as always.
One of the reasons I am so excited to be up in Portland is because my sister is also a diehard Housewives fan, and she'll call me the morning after an episode airs. And so we were on the couch last night watching, and she was like, Fireside, I'm going to Google this. So she went on a mini deep dive of Fireside, and she's all, this is, it's nothing remarkable in any way, shape, or form. Not that we needed my sister to Google that before, but, and she watched, I don't know what they call it. She watched something, some content that Heather made, and it was insufferable, as you can imagine. So,
I mean, and I did love Tamra for pressing her when they sat down to lunch, and she's like, what's different about this? And Heather's like, well, you can hear them applaud, which I thought was a very interesting thing that Heather cared most about.
Oh, yeah.
And Tamra was like, that's, as we've all been saying from the beginning, this is not new technology. It's existed for decades. And as far as I can tell, Heather's already been doing that. Doesn't she have like a YouTube channel I don't know.
I'm the
Anyways,
last person to ask about anything Heather
I know.
Dubrow does outside of this show because I don't care. I
I
cannot.
know.
And I actively stay away from content about her because except for that paparazzi picture that came out, because it was like, oh, Heather stages pictures. I'm like, of course I want to see snark about Heather. And listen, she's a very polarizing housewife. On the Reddit subs, there are a lot of people that love her, and they are very quick to put down the people that feel about her the way I feel about her. So, who knows?
I mean, again, it's all my damage because Heather trying to tell me that Fireside is this innovative, exciting new platform. It plays me as a fool.
Yep.
It's not, Heather.
Okay,
Everything
yes.
you're saying is nonsense. I'm not an idiot. Don't try to throw a party and get me fired up for this isn't like Facebook in 1994 or whatever.
Yeah.
This isn't anything.
Yeah.
And I Googled it too, just to see what was going on with it. And I got bored immediately because it's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Sorry, Mark
But
Cuban.
at least I know, but I feel like Mark Cuban knew. Remember that lunch date they had? He was just like, you could tell he'd given her 15 minutes of time to shoot. And he was like, well, some things fail,
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur means failing. And I was like,
exactly.
oh,
He looked
he
at it
saw
as
this coming.
a free commercial for Fireside, and he's like, fuck it. If it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me, whatever,
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, Lord. I
did not miss Shannon.
No,
so
but
I was fine with her not being there.
I did not get the feeling that Gina was being honest when she said Shannon isn't coming. And Shannon isn't coming, and that's sad because this is important to you. I don't know that I would want someone at an event that important to me, as Heather was making it seem it was important to her. Would I want someone that I was having such heated conflict with at that event? I don't think that I would. And I don't believe that Gina really cared that Shannon wasn't there because it was going to hurt Heather's feelings. I believe that Shannon was trying to start shit and put Shannon down and start the let's gossip about Shannon train. And she packaged it in a way that seemed like it was caring about her friend. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I don't buy it.
Wait, you mean Gina was trying to start shit?
Jesus Christ. Did I call her Shannon again?
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's fine. They're all the same. So it's completely understandable that they meld into one blonde moron. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Now it's my turn. Gina's behavior at this luncheon, I found really strange and uncomfortable. She was kissing Heather's ass in a way that was I don't know. It really bothered me because Emily was just drunk and being funny and ridiculous. She wasn't doing anything offensive. And Gina was shushing her as if she's saying something personal or outrageous. She was just saying there's sand in her salad, and it appeared everyone else agreed. And then at the end of the lunch, Gina's like, I really like you, Heather. We're really good friends, Heather. I'm so glad you're my friend. And I was like, what are you doing? This event is ridiculous. Heather is ridiculous. Why are you kissing her ass? You look ridiculous now.
She has 55 million reasons why she's kissing her ass.
But is Heather going to dole it out?
Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
I mean, it comes at a price. If you want to hang out at Heather's billion-dollar homes, you have to hang out with Heather and have her let you through the gates and do 10 infomercials on the way to the pool house of
talk about Nikki's career in real estate.
And look at all of her portraits of herself hanging from every wall. I don't know what anybody gets out of that. Being friends with a rich asshole, at the end of the day, you're just friends with an asshole.
I could understand Shannon's choice to not make the event. If I was feeling ganged up on by my coworkers or my, that would never happen with my friends, but let's just say coworkers, I would probably look for an excuse not to go. However, if I am also, again, committed to living that 3-footed stool, if it was not going to be completely detrimental to my mental health to go, and right now I don't feel that Shannon is in a position to decide what's good for her mental health. She's not making any good choices for her mental health right now. So I don't know if she has a full grasp on making informed and evolved decisions in a situation like this. So I know that in the past, I have shown up to things I did not want to go to as an act of service. And I know you and I have been on the phone many times over the years where you showed up to something because, one of your spiritual advisors said, Margie, you can go for 20 minutes, show up for 20 minutes. And then if you have to leave, you're allowed to leave, but just to show up. So I can see this situation from both sides. It's her coworker that she has to film with for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know
I
either.
can see both sides. I don't want to walk into a lion's den. And at the same time, sometimes I know I just have to suit up and show up, but who knows?
Yeah,
It's
but
not.
when Shannon suits up and shows up, she's such a mopey, like she just sucks all the energy and joy out of the
Yeah.
room when she's in that mood. And Heather is so rotten. If she sensed a weakness in Shannon, I'm sure she would exploit it and pick at it and make it a miserable lunch for her. And the 20-minute rule has been one of the most impactful things that I've learned. And I don't even remember if it came from a therapist or a sponsor or what, but it is, and I've passed it along to the next generation of just set your alarm for 20 minutes and show up. And a lot of times that means I show up with enormous anxiety. I show up in incredible self-loathing.
Yep.
I can barely fucking get out of the car once I arrive at the venue. But if I know it's just 20 minutes, and I've learned over time, it's a great gauge. Within 20 minutes, you're either relaxing into the people that are there and finding something to enjoy, or the energy in the room is so not welcoming that it's time to go. But you showed your face and then you Irish goodbye if you're me after 20 minutes if it's not a match. But I really, it's really hard to show up a lot of times, and especially after COVID. My God, my weird social anxiety
Oh
has
yeah.
taken itself to a whole other level.
Mm-hmm.
But just, knowing that there's a finish line at 20 minutes, I get to make a decision. I just have to show up for 20 minutes and then it's up to me if I
Yeah.
stay or go. Real helpful.
But Shannon isn't. Shannon is not. Is at this moment, she doesn't seem equipped to be able to make any decisions. Oh God, what word am I looking for? You know what I'm saying. I don't need to search for it on anybody else's time but my own. And then we have a flashback to Heather packing up her house. And she says that she's living on adrenaline. And I about threw my notebook at the television because she's living on 3 assistants and endless resources to help her pack up her mall of a house. She has endless liquid financial liquidity. Is that a term?
Mm-hmm. Yes, cash flow.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. My God.
Yeah, no, but that's what it is. She can pay for all of those services where 10,000 people in white gloves
Yeah.
come into your home and pack everything up in 10 minutes miraculously.
Yep.
She didn't do shit.
She didn't do
She
shit.
wasn't bubble wrapping knickknacks and trying to pack wardrobe boxes. Get out of, just shut up. You made a few phone calls to some professionals and they came in and did a great job for you. Great.
And
And then you left some stuffed animals, whatever. That's later, but good Lord.
she is name dropping. We're going to want to take the Vouv and we're going to want to take the Baccarat crystal. And it just reminded me of Dorit in the fact that the labels are so important to them. They're so important to them. And these labels are so all you have to do is Google, what is the hallmark of a rich person? What if I wanted to cosplay a rich person, drink Vouv, have Baccarat crystal, yada, yada, yada. And it's lazy. It's boring. It's basic.
You just described Heather Dubrows.
Yeah, exactly. And the difference between Dorit and Heather is that Dorit is still finding her sea legs in that, rich person cosplay, even though she's dressed head to toe in what she wants us to think is Louis Vuitton. I don't know if you watched a little sidebar here. I don't know if you watched Watch What Happens Live. Was Taylor a guest? Yeah, Taylor was a guest, right? And
yeah.
And she said, one of the questions that Andy asked her is, give us some gossip about someone in a franchise without naming names. And she said that someone wears fake labels. I believe that it's Dorit. I believe that it's Dorit Kemsley. I bet there's more than one housewife that wears fake labels, but I do believe that it's Dorit. And
Wasn't Phaedra on Atlanta caught wearing something that said like Fembi or something instead of like, it's just, and I mean, I guess, shouldn't that just show us all how stupid it is? Who cares? It's just irrelevant saying Veuve and Baccarat. And also, were you going to leave them behind, Heather? You really have to tell someone to bring the Baccarat crystal? Fuck you.
Oh my God. I know.
Anyways. And then we have Heather and Terry being stupid and secretive about selling their home and living in a hotel, and they dance around like dickheads. And I hate this whole storyline. It's being crammed down our throats. I don't care. There are no stakes. Nobody wins or loses anything if this story breaks one way or the other. So I hate the main characters, Heather and Terry, and I hate the story. So like, I angrily don't care.
Agreed. Terry's real aware of the camera. They're both so hyper aware of the camera this season, and they really get a kick out of themselves. And I guess the joke's on them because they just look like assholes. But I don't, what the fuck do I know? I'm not a housewife by choice.
Look,
I haven't been given the option.
Until I'm worth more than $55 million, they don't give a shit what I think.
They don't give a shit what I think either.
I just, if that's what $55 million turns you into,
Pass.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. And then Heather gathers everyone for some annoying pre-lunch toast, which then this was the moment when I was like, lunch? You're having a lunch? What the fuck is this? Cheap. And she says the HD network is all about community.
Oh my God, Margaret.
And, last I checked, it was like a self-serving masturbatory audition platform for Heather.
She wouldn't know the true meaning of community if her acting coach was explaining it to her and the director was demanding Heather to exude that about community. I don't think that she would do it. She would know what true community is if the devil themselves were to say, hey, you're going to lose your $55 million unless you can give me the definition and embodiment of community. I don't think that she would know.
No, again, I think it's like an entrepreneur buzzword that she's heard, and she plugged it into her Fireside gibberish, and now we have a pre-luncheon toast.
Oh my God.
And I do love Emily. In this scene, I was like, oh God, I have been Emily so many times in my life where I get champagne wasted before, food is served. And then I kind of make an ass out of myself. Like, it's relatively harmless, but it's fucking embarrassing the day after. But I enjoyed that it happened.
I did too.
In this scene, we needed something to look at.
Exactly. Well, I think we touched on this at the beginning, but Tamra nailed it. It's Instagram Live. They're asking her for definitions. What makes your channel different than, TikTok or Instagram Live or a fucking vlog for that matter? Because I believe you can live stream. I mean, we can live
stream anywhere. Like, yes. You can do it on YouTube. Like, everybody can react in every way. Like, the whole thing is just so dumb.
Yeah.
It's just so, and again, if I'm a technology idiot, if I know that Fireside is dated and not new,
exactly,
then you're so far off the mark. You're 20 years at least behind. If I'm aware that this is like not anything current or interesting.
And when Heather tries to talk like a tech bro, it's as Gen Z likes to say, it's cringe. It's real cringe because she can't explain it. And it's all fucking dumbass lingo anyway. So, and
this is why Emily just launches into, I wrote it down because this is me and it makes me laugh so hard. She says over the course of the lunch, is there a bird? Eggs come out of the fish's vagina. I have to pee. Is there dressing? Heather, I think you should put your initials on more things. I'm surprised we didn't get branded when we got here. Do you have sand in your salad? Like, she just, I could go on. But that, I totally relate to that, like, party ADD. Like if there's not anything interesting or conversation that's like holding my attention and I'm a little champagne wasted, it's all that. I fully get it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was giggling and having a good time. I was happy to see it.
I was
Because it
too.
was so, as they say on the Great British Bake Off, stodgy. You know, this cake was stodgy. It sucked. It was just like tense and boring and cold and lame. So thank God someone got loose and gave us a laugh.
Shit came out in a cloche. It came out in a fucking cloche.
In like a 9-foot tall cloche. It wasn't even like a normal, like,
God.
it was so dumb.
It was, just so dumb. Oh, and just to like backtrack to hearing everything that Emily was saying, I have to remind myself these mic packs are really sensitive. And even if she and Gina were whispering to each other, it's going to sound like they're broadcasting to the entire table. So I'm not really sure what everybody else heard. They probably saw her acting like 10 kinds of a fool, but I don't know that they actually heard the specifics of what she was saying. It just,
I mean, I think she was drunk, so she was probably speaking louder than she thought she was.
Very good point.
And she did have like a cucumber tongue at one point, you know, like she was doing the things. But it just, to me, again, we were raised by alcoholics. I know what an embarrassing drunk at an event looks like. This ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a girl who had like a little too much bubbly and not enough bread. This isn't, nobody is harmed. It's just foolishness. That's it. It's just not a big deal.
Yeah, agreed. They pivot the conversation to talk about Jen introducing Ryan to her mom, and Tamara makes a jab at Ryan's clothes. And I got real like prickly about this because as much as I abhor this man, and believe me, I do, I abhor this man. The one thing I can say is that at least he's wearing what he wants to wear versus let's go to Neiman's at Fashion fucking Island and what's on the mannequin in the trendy department. Okay, give me that. I don't even know if Tamara likes the outfits she's wearing. I don't think that she would know how to dress if it wasn't just something that was being blasted at her or broadcast at her. Her style is tight, and the perfunctory Orange County perfunctory, is that the right way to use that word? Perfunctory?
I think so.
It's the obligatory. It's the obligatory Orange County platform, whether it's a jute heel or the fucking goddamn, who made that shoe that was out a couple years ago that had the spikes? It was Yves Saint Laurent, I believe.
Valentino.
Yeah, it was one of those brands made that platform spiky shoe that all the Orange County housewives and some other franchises wore. But while his clothes are ostentatious and they are branded, you know, he's taking a little bit of fashion risks. You know, what Ryan wears is not run of the mill, and what Tamara wears is completely boring and fucking basic. So I don't know. This one, I had to not, and I don't like this man. Okay. Anyway.
But counterpoint, I would say Ryan walks in the door of Intermix or Traffic, and he takes the first thing on the man mannequin in the window. And it has zebra stripes and denim, and it has suede, and it's just a mess of like bullshit.
Intermix.
It's not a thoughtful style. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, that's a Siriano look. That's a Ryan look. It's just a fucking mess of shit that to me looks like what I see when I walk down Robertson Boulevard and look in the windows, and I'm like, who would wear that shit? Ah, there he is.
That's very
He's in
fair.
Orange County.
That's very fair because that is so not a thing in the Bay Area. I completely forgot about those stores. Oh my God. I forgot about Kitson, but you know what, Margee? Yep. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but and again, it's all my projection of like, I don't like Ryan. So anything I'm looking through, I don't like Ryan glasses whenever we're talking or looking at Ryan. So obviously my take had to do with that. Somewhere in here, we get to this convoluted conversation about going on a girls' trip to Mexico. Everyone's sick of their spouses, I guess. So time to go to Mexico. And then we have Heather just have another like fucking tantrum at her party, calling Emily crass, rude, and inappropriate. And then saying, but I'm not going to let her take this away from me. Take what away?
Yeah.
You're not getting a Nobel Prize. You threw yourself a party for your app that's not even a thing. Like, what is anyone taking away from you?
That was I got that too. My sister made me laugh last night because she's like, listen, if you can't take the heat, get out of the fireside. And that made me laugh. Heather feels criticized after Emily makes the comment like, oh, can you put an HD on more things? But the thing is that if Heather was truly confident about the choices she made for this party, I don't think that she's going to be taking offense to anything. Like if I really loved anything, like, listen, my decor style is not for everybody. Somewhere along the way, I decided to decorate my house like an old rich white lady from the South. I don't know how. I have little matching dogs and shit. Like it's not youthful by any means. It's maximalist. It's what I like. It's mixed with a little bit of like disco 70s here and there, and it makes me happy. If someone walks into my house and says, "Oh my fucking God, like what goodwill exploded in here," I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't be offended. I would be like, well, it's just what I like. I can't fucking help it. My style is not for everybody. If Heather really loved what she did and was confident about what she did, she's not going to give a shit what Emily says.
I mean, it's just that thing of like, if everything doesn't go how she wanted it to go, she becomes a victim. Like, Emily is being awful to me, or a martyr. Look at this lovely party I threw and you ruined it.
Yes.
It's like, and that Shannon has the same tendency, which is probably why they butt heads so much.
Absolutely right.
The only time Heather's been like at peace and have some stillness about her during a conflict is when she has $55 million on her side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. The dog.
I love it. I wish everyone else could see how cute she is digging herself a comfortable spot on the couch.
Digging a hole in my couch.
It's so funny.
Evie, thank you.
Yeah, she's looking at you all offended, like, excuse me.
I know.
What is her
I live
problem?
here too.
Heather said that she was not going to let Emily's comments take the elation
about
the
her glory of her night.
Yes, the glory of her lunch.
Her afternoon.
Her cloche.
Right.
She's not going to let the glory of her cloche fucking fish vagina eggs take away. Right. Anyway, she has no sense of humor. Unless it's her sense of humor.
She did, exactly. So she did let Emily take this away from her because she got so worked
she's lying
up.
about that. She's completely lying about it. Yes. Oh, goddamn.
This next exchange I did love in terms of what we look for, this exchange between Gina and Emily when Gina said, "You're being a dick," which is one part. But the second half I really appreciated where she said, "Is something bothering you?" So it's like, you're being a dick, which is an observation. And I imagine there's something behind that. So let's talk about it. I thought that was sweet. And Emily immediately said, yes, there is something bothering me. It's that comment that Heather made about Shannon and then not following through because something's in the vault or whatever the fuck. And then Gina said, "I understand you, but you cannot address that here today." And Emily goes, "Duly noted." And I was like, oh my God, look how like mature and efficient and lovely. And Emily, meanwhile, is still shit-faced on 30 glasses of champagne. Yep. But when someone speaks directly and honestly, it cuts through. And she was like, all right, is there sand in your salad? And off we go. It's just...
I loved it. That was extremely notable to me as well. Yes, absolutely. It was adorable.
And then on the flip side of that is Heather, as Emily and Gina excuse themselves to go to the bathroom, Heather says, "You're at my event. Eat your fucking food and shut up." And I was like, wow. Like that really bothered me. That was so cruel and just so, it just felt classist.
Completely.
Okay.
No.
I had this huge reaction to it where I was like, fuck you. Don't invite people if that's what you need from them, is to shut up and eat their fucking food.
Right.
Hire people if that's what you want and tell them how to be.
Exactly.
But like, wow, that was vile.
It was completely, I got the same thing. It was classist. It was waspish, possibly Mormon. I don't know. Like, it was just like, it needs to be picture perfect or it is a failure. Ugh.
And Jen offered, the truth, which is like, Emily admittedly has had too much champagne and not enough food. And then Heather takes the extra step of saying like, at this age, we should be past that. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
So everyone should only drink measured thimbles of alcohol until they reach just the right amount of tipsy and then excuse themselves from a party? Like, can't anyone be human? Like, everything is a test with her. Everything.
Oh my God.
And then Heather says, if you're that hammered, leave the table. She did. She's not at the table. Like, fuck you. Whatever. And then this is when Gina weirdly kisses her ass at the end. And she's like, you're such a great friend. And I like you so much. And
yeah,
that
I don't
weirded me out.
understand Gina's motives with that relationship.
Ugh.
Oh my God. Is this when the Dubrows pull up through their porte cochere and then say goodbye to their house?
I wrote down, inspired by you, Heather and Terry say goodbye to the Dubrow Galleria.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
and when it's empty, it's even worse.
It is. It's just, yeah. And then she's talking shit about Emily, like, don't poke holes in other people's boats. And I'm like, really? Because I seem to remember at the very beginning of this season, you poked about 1,000 holes in Taylor's acting job boat.
Yeah.
Like, she's such a hypocrite. Josh likes to call people, he calls this behavior full hip. Full hip. That person's being full hip, babe. Full hypocrite. And Heather cannot see any of her behavior that she's calling people out on because her eyes are so far up her own ass. Anyway.
They are. And this whole thing, the launch of the scene was just this like self-congratulatory bullshit between Heather and Terry, which again, I don't believe. Their cute banter at the doorway of like, well, when you buy a home and you enter it, you carry someone over the threshold. What do you do when you're leaving? You kick them? I was just the sitcom from hell. I hate it. I hated that Heather left stuffed animals for the new owners of the house. To me, I'm just like, they're not good enough. Like, they're not fancy enough stuffed animals. It looks like you're leaving trash. It doesn't look like a thoughtful gift basket. It looks like, here's 2 straggling things I found in the garage. I'm putting them on this counter. And I don't know.
Leave a bottle oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Go. Yes.
No, finally we're wrapping up the storyline that I just hate so much. So I think I'm just at my wit's end by the time we're at this point in the scene. Have it. Who cares?
Leave a bottle of Vouv, leave a goddamn 2-pound box of C's and a note.
Just move out.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God.
When you move into a new place, do you really want anything in there? There's so much shit coming in.
No, I don't.
The last thing I want is like chocolates or stuffed toys. They're just going to get thrown out. Hate her.
Oh, God.
And Terry Dubrow can go straight to hell because he says, I'm going to miss this house in 55 million different ways.
Oh my God.
Hate you.
Margaret.
And then Heather goes, where are we going next? And Terry says, wherever it is, it'll be on a private jet. I'm like, you're Richie Rich. You're worse than Richie Rich. You literally have one gear, which is money. There's nothing else to that man. He sucks. That's all.
No, he's getting progressively worse. Like the more he's on Botched, the more money he makes. His self-centeredness and lack of awareness. It's leaving. It's gross. If there's no subtle,
he is. He's proof positive that money can't buy you class.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The Countess
all comes back to Bravo. So again, Heather is, going on and on about how she's not going to let anybody get her down. And yet she chooses this probably manufactured moment saying goodbye to her house because God knows we are all just enthralled with this. To call Shannon on this day that is so important to her. She's going to call Shannon. Shannon is living rent-free in this woman's head. And she can look us in the eye and tell us that she's not going to let anything get her down. And she is a fucking liar. She's lying.
She has a controlling disease. She has a controlling addiction, and she will be miserable for the rest of her life if Shannon, didn't cancel in the right way for the right reason at the right time. It's like, detach with love, honey.
Dude.
If you're so invested in your event, like, have your disappointment for 10 minutes and then move the fuck on.
Yeah.
But like, everything is a problem for her. Shannon canceling it the wrong way at the wrong time is a problem. Emily drinking the wrong amount and finding sand in her salad and mentioning it is like, everything is a problem.
People not knowing what a cloche is a problem. And I would like to remind Heather that she did not go to the Senior Noodles dinner. She went out of her way to make a special trip to Huntington Beach to tell Shannon why she wasn't going to go, and she didn't show up either. And they were having tension at that time.
And that was the day of the party too.
Yeah. And Shannon also set the expectation at their tragic lunch last week that she wasn't sure she was going to be going. So, anyway.
But again, Heather has to be a victim or a martyr if it doesn't go exactly her way. So now she's both. And then we get into this poorly staged and acted discovery of the sale of the house with Tamara on the phone inviting Shannon to Mexico. Shannon body shaming herself, saying,
God,
sure, I'll go, but I'm not wearing a bathing suit. Broke my fucking heart.
Mine too.
As she gears up to sell colonics. Oh my God, fuck you so much. And then Tamara goes, I'm looking up the result. Wait, what? And then suddenly she's like, can you believe it? Heather sold her house. I'm like, okay. And then we start this whole thing. Did you get the article I sent you? Word travels fast in Orange County. Again, I think it's just because I hate this storyline that I'm just like, really? More?
I know. Yep. The home sale gossip commences. Yes. And everyone's acting aghast. I don't know why. I don't know why Heather would share it. And I don't know why everyone gives a shit so much, honestly.
I don't think they give a shit. And I think that Heather, I don't think they give a shit. I think it is shocking to see that number and to have not even been aware the house wasn't on the market. Like, I would be shocked if I read in the newspaper that you sold your house for like, $80 million and I didn't even know you were, whatever. But I think that's the end of it. It doesn't speak to anything more interesting about Heather or
exactly.
She's been trying these past few weeks to tell us that, well, I'm not telling them because they're not good friends. I'm not telling them because they don't deserve to know. And it's like, nobody really cares. It's like a shocking thing. It's like, I don't know.
And again,
someone clapping in front of your face really loud. So you're like, and then it's over. You don't care anymore.
Her hypocrisy, again, is staggering. And her pointing the fingers at other people while not looking at her own stuff. If they're not her friends, why is she so bummed the fuck out that Shannon didn't go to her fireside lunch?
I don't even know. I truly don't know.
I know.
She's just crazy.
Yep.
And then we have dinner with Mimi, Chris, Kristen, whoever, and Ryan and Jen. I did, again, from a mental health standpoint, I appreciated Mimi's honesty that she opened up. He came and introduced himself and she just said, I'm nervous, which I thought that was nice of her, just to set the stage and be like, this is what you're walking into.
I did too. I liked that.
And then he's so full of shit,
He's spoken platitudes to me the entire dinner.
Yeah. And he put words in Jen's mouth, which seemed a little scary. He's not really going to marry her. Like when he said, if her divorce was final, we'd be engaged already. Isn't that right, hun? And she was like, yeah, sure. It just looked, I don't know. And the mom did a nice job of trying to get along, but it just seems like everyone at that table knows this is bullshit and probably doomed, but
yeah,
whatever.
It was, I think the let's rehab Ryan tour needs to stop. We're done. The tickets aren't selling. The venues are empty. Let's be done.
And the way he ended it, which just, maybe again, I'm projecting all my own shit on this. I've had boyfriends like this who sort of treat you not as great as they could. And then in front of a parent, they're like, is Jen like this with you too? Where she's just like, let's do something. She's so active. Can you even handle it? She's like, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's help the community. He was selling her in a way that's deprecating himself. And I was just like, oh. And like you said, again, it's all generic.
Mm-hmm.
None of it has any emotion behind it. None of it has anything specific behind it. He makes my organs crawl.
Yeah.
Like my whole inside gets upset.
Also, I like his, Chris, Jen's mom. I'm sorry if I don't know her exact name. I hate that when I don't know someone's exact name, but eventually she's going to see that, him say, oh, well, I like your boobs. That's why I want to marry you. I like your boobs.
Well, and then is he going to put Chris on the dick pic text chain?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, what the fuck with this guy? Anyways, fortunately, as we move into the packing montage, the editors give us a shot of a kitten before we have to see Ryan again. So I appreciated that. But I've just had enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm full up on my Ryan tolerance is like way strung out. Too much.
God. Shannon has more self-hatred, like while she's packing, and I understand it. I really do. When I have been in a bad mental health place and I am going on a trip with women whose bodies are approved by society and Western culture as a whole, yeah, I feel more insecure too. And sometimes when I'm in that deep fear, when I've been in that deep fear, getting dressed for something like that is going to make me feel really bad. I'm going to feel really insecure. Now, the difference is when I get to said trip or said event, it all goes away because I'm too busy soaking up the love from the friends that I'm with. Granted, Shannon may not feel as safe with the people she's going on this trip with than she does if she was going on a trip with people that she truly cared about. But it still makes me sad to see someone throw their body under the bus because it doesn't look like Tamra's. Like,
well, and to do it, to me, it was the audience that she kept that really bothered me. That's her
yeah,
daughter.
it was terrible.
You're planting these seeds or just cultivating them in your daughter's head. They've obviously been there forever. And then putting this on her, like that's a lot. That's a lot to drop on a kid of like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cute to see Shannon's daughter like not hate her for once in a scene. That was lovely, but I was just so disappointed in Shannon and like why take this lovely time that you have with your kid to like hate your body? And I don't know. It was just again, she just like bummed me out. And if her fucking Sit-olinics worked as she claims they will, then she wouldn't feel like this.
Exactly.
So
She wouldn't feel like this
bad advertising, bitch.
mentally, self-esteem wise, or have the physical setbacks that she interprets herself to have because she's not thin. Jesus Christ. Whenever this cast in particular is getting ready to go to Mexico, I like physically feel myself get anxious. And my sister and I were both like, oh no, what horrors await us, when these white ladies descend upon Mexico.
I was thinking of you during the packing montage because the editors start right away with like,
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
I was like, why? Why are you doing this? We all know what Mexico is. You don't have to like shove ranchero music down. Like, what are you doing? It just like I have nothing to be offended about, but I was like, what's happening? I was like,
No, you're allowed to be offended. You're allowed to be offended.
It was just such an aggressive choice of like, we're going somewhere different. Oh
my God. Like, I mean, of all fucking songs, it's like, why not play fucking La Cucaracha or something like even worse? Like, does Speedy Gonzalez have a fucking theme song? Like, Jesus, it's so gross. For all of Heather's wanting us to think that she's confident when they're in the Sprinter van, and they're divvying up the rooms, her insecurity really comes out. And I didn't get schadenfreude from it. I didn't feel gleeful that she was insecure, but dude, I don't know why I'm hoping this. It's stupid, but it's good to see. I hope that she sees that she is insecure. Like she is just like everybody fucking else. We're humans. To be insecure from moment to moment is a human thing. Just get the fuck over it and join us.
She would help herself a lot just to look at herself a little because The reason you don't get picked for dodgeball is because you suck at dodgeball. The reason you don't get picked to room with people is because you suck at being a person.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, look into that. Like, I was never confused why I wasn't picked first for kickball. I sucked at kickball, so I wasn't surprised
Yeah.
to be standing
Yeah.
there. So, if I'm picked last to be someone's roommate, I might be like, I wonder what it is that about me that's not communicating to these people in a way that I hoped it would. Or fuck these people, they're not my real friends. Like, but instead she's just like, poor me. What did the dodgeball get? Shut up.
I know.
Have room with your $55 million and leave everyone else alone.
Exactly. Which just goes to show you, if you are not okay with yourself in your mind, and if you are not looking for ways to be okay with yourself in your mind, the $55 million isn't going to make you not feel insecure when you feel left out of why don't these people want to ask me to share a room, you know?
And it's not going to buy you their respect or friendship. They all know you have $55 million new dollars in this moment, and no one picked to room with you.
Exactly.
So your money doesn't make you anybody that anybody wants to hang out with.
Your cloche fish eggs do not make anyone want to hang out with you. Yeah.
No.
Ay. So we fast forward to dinner with people in their Orange County platform goddamn shoes.
What the fuck was Jen's dress? She's wearing like a Hamburglar turtleneck bodycon.
Oh God, I don't even remember it, Margee. I don't even.
It was a turtleneck. It was a black and white striped horizontal long sleeved turtleneck dress that went down to like her ankle. It looked like one of those, what were those bandage dresses, Hervé Leger or whatever, right?
Yes.
It was just this, it was just the least, if I had a whole closet full of items, I would pick a wool sweater before I picked that dress to bring to Mexico for a vacation. It just was an insane choice. And she looked so hot all through dinner, of course, because she's wearing a long sleeve turtleneck. It was insane.
Yeah. Agreed.
It was just such a bizarre choice for a vacation look.
Agreed. Oh, so then the house sale conversation starts. And again, Heather is full hip. They're calling her out. Heather is projecting onto Shannon and doing her usual defensive behavior where she evades being honest and instead turns it around on others, because Shannon says at the beginning of the conversation, well, you ask all of us to be honest with you, and you call us out when you perceive that we're not being honest with you, and yet you didn't tell us these things. So, you know.
Well, and Heather is just a coward and a liar because she's like, oh, well, we had an NDA, so I couldn't tell you. Really? Tell your confessionals for the past 4 weeks when you've been saying that they don't deserve to know, and you would never tell people who aren't supportive that you sold your house. So suddenly it's an NDA. And then she says, I did not want it getting out in the press, and I didn't expect it would. And I thought I would tell you guys when we were here. Bullshit. Terry says on camera, the paperwork has been filed. The deal is closed. It is the third largest home sale in Orange County. That is going to make the papers. Josh Altman is your real estate agent. He is already on the phone with anyone who will pick it up to tell him that he made this sale.
Yeah,
like,
that's going to be a press release, dude. Bully.
Yeah, she's just such a liar. And again, I hate that. Don't play me for a fool. Just say like, I don't know. I don't even know why she didn't tell them. So I can't even tell her what I would say, but it just is so, she turns it into something it's just absolutely not. And she's a liar and a hater. And then,
Yeah. The next thing I have written down, I don't know about you, but Emily asks Heather, why do the paparazzi pictures, why do the accusations that they're paparazzi pictures bother you so much? And again, Heather evades answering the question and turns it around on Emily, saying, you've been unkind. You've been unkind to me. No, you need to take some accountability and be honest with your friends that were important enough to invite to your fireside event, but yet aren't important enough to have an honest conversation with.
And it's not even that big of a deal. Like Emily said, why did it bother you so much? And a normal person would just take a breath and be like, oh yeah, I guess it didn't need to bother me that much. Maybe I was overwhelmed by the house stuff going on or whatever. But like exactly what you said. It immediately turns around on Emily. I'm like rubber, you're like glue, whatever
Exactly.
bounces off me
Exactly.
sticks to you. And then, then we get into this stupid thing about, is this where the body shaming comes up? Oh no, that's later. This is the way you treated me at my event. You're a dick, Emily. This whole thing.
It was awful.
And Emily is just saying it was a joke. And calls her out on saying, eat your fucking food and shut up. Why is it okay for you to make jokes about cookie boobs, but I can't say HD? I mean, and then the body shaming thing just was like, nobody's right. That's all dumb.
Exactly.
The cookie boobs is harmless. The whale trainer suit is harmless. Like,
yeah.
and for her to be like, that hurt. It's like, what? You chose to wear it.
Right.
Like, shut up. And also it's over. Who cares?
I know.
It's not like the whole world got up in arms about, she's just out of her fucking
Completely.
mind. And then she says exactly what you'd expect her to say. She says, I'm tired of being a scapegoat.
Oh my God. Heather Dubrows, get off the cross. We need the wood. Get off.
My jaw was on the motherfucking floor. I was like, that I guess could be your subtext, but you got to say something more creative because scapegoat, that is not you. That is not
of
you.
All the things.
I cannot.
Yeah. Oh God, this woman triggers me so much because I cannot stand to see blatant dishonesty and blatant lack of accountability. I hate it. I hate it.
And Emily does too. Emily is us in this scene because
that.
she said, you're not a scapegoat if that is what you said. Like, that's what you said. So, and then I love this exchange where Heather goes, well, I don't care what you think. And Emily goes, I don't care what you think. And Heather goes, I think. And then she starts yelling, I think I've been an amazing friend to you. And I've been nothing but loving. And like, again, saying it from this like witchy place in her soul. And all you do is look for some hole to hold on, like whatever.
Yeah.
It was just, and then Emily, again, is us saying like, you get to be pretentious, you get to be self-centered, egocentric, and we all just have to go along with it. That's just Heather. She's just that. Like, and I can't be someone who makes a joke at a party. You get to be all of these insufferable things, and I can't have one champagne lunch where things go a little left. Asshole.
Agreed. 100%. 100% agreed. I also wrote down Emily is us. And it's just interesting. I know from my own experience, when I get defensive, it's because I am terrified I am being misunderstood. I am terrified that someone is going to be thinking a certain way about me that I have no control over, or I truly believe is incorrect information. And Heather needs to come to the realization she needs to get good with the fact that she is a human being, and that, I guess she needs to get honest with herself. No matter how many Chanel pencil skirts or severe ponytails or mall houses she lives in is not going to change who she is as a person, and it is not the definition of herself as a person. And I don't know. I don't have fucking control over this woman. She is middle-aged. She has all the resources in the world to get as much help as she can. And if she doesn't, I don't know. But this is your reality with your personality,
I mean, she has like that Trump factor of like, if you don't believe the story I'm telling, even if it's an abject lie, then I'm going to say, fuck you. And I'm going to say it loud, and I'm going to say it to everybody. And I have a ton of money to protect me. So, and I feel like Heather, this is her swan song, right? Like, she can't come back to this cast because everyone hates her. She's full of shit, and she can't tolerate like being seen as who she really is. So she's just going to go pay other people to be around her and tell her what she wants to hear. So bye. And I love Emily. Like,
I do too.
Heather's an idiot to go up against a lawyer. It's just an unsavory fight. And I hope this is the end of that storyline, because I don't even think the ladies cared about not being told. I think they were more, they cared that they didn't know that Heather was moving out in 3 weeks. Like, I think that's what they were like, wait, what? You didn't tell us that you were packing up your whole mall? And 3 weeks, like, I don't know. I think Heather wants it to be about money because she said to them, I feel like if I share this with you, you'll think I'm bragging. And in my heart, I was like, I don't think that's what they're reacting to. I think nobody expects you to sell less than the highest. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a shock.
Yeah.
What's a shock is that you moved out in 3 weeks, had a party, and didn't tell any of
Yeah.
us. Like, that's fucking weird.
That's fucking 3 assistants helping you pack 1 room and nothing but cash to throw at a goddamn 3-week move out. So
Heather didn't move out. Heather planned her dumb party.
God damn it.
And it hired, great professional people to move her
Agreed.
out. Good for her. But
Agreed.
yeah.
Oh my God. I don't even remember the scenes that are coming for next week because I was exhausted by this point.
Oh, yes. Ramona, I don't really either. All I remember, I didn't write anything down because the second I saw Vicky
that's right.
going, woohoo, my body shut
That's why I
down and I
blocked
was
it out.
like, you can't take this in. Just wait for next week.
Honestly, if I were Mexico, I would fucking put her on a no-fly list or a no enter the country list. She is so god awful in Orange County. And then when we have Vicky in Mexico, it's even worse. Her entire personality is whoop it up and tequila. And I'm sure we're going to hear like, why aren't we going to Andales? And I just am thankful that I won't have to hear her bastardize Puerto Vallarta with the way she says Puerto Vallarta. Oh my God. Oh, I hate this woman.
She really, it's for me, it's an unwelcome visitor to that trip.
You're right. That's why I don't remember because I blocked it out. God damn.
Can I just say one thing about that hotel? That hotel they stayed in, I get it. It was like the suites were huge and whatever, but it looked like a Vegas hotel to me.
Yeah.
Like, did that look like a Mexican vacation to you?
I don't know that they. I believe that that's the same resort that they stay on in The Bachelor.
Oh,
I think that that's the same. But that has nothing to do with what you just asked. But I'm sure they're catering towards a certain clientele. And
who is that though? Like, why do you fly to Mexico to have hermetically sealed? The windows were floor to ceiling, but they were sealed.
Yeah.
Like, usually, don't you want like pocket doors
a
and
view
like
of the ocean and smell the ocean breeze?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I found it strange. I wanted to feel like I was on vacation more.
It was.
And instead I was just like, cool, another sterile condo.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. It was very, very cosmopolitan looking, hotel, resort, Vegas, casino. Fuck, I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No. Again, and if someone gave me a 2-night stay there, I would go in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
But I think I was just surprised. I was like, this doesn't look whatever. Well,
another exhausting Orange County episode.
They took it out of me again.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for. I mean, there's, again, it's just information that there's plenty more that I can work on in myself, that I'm so, these women just like bring me to my knees every week.
Heather really triggers my adult child of an alcoholic.
So does Shannon. So like all of it.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
God damn. Well, what else did you watch this week?
I mean, Salt Lake, I really enjoyed. I watched, sort of not wholly paying attention, but I watched RHOC again. I haven't watched the first few episodes, but I've watched the last 2 and I've enjoyed them. Maybe it's because I'd watched that. They were on like a beach vacation and it looked like beachy and amazing. So when we went to Mexico and they were like indoors, it was weird. And I think I can't remember anything else. So I couldn't have watched anything great if I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I watched After the Altar, Love is Blind of the latest season, just because I wanted to just close it out. Oh yeah, they had the After the Altar that came out over the weekend, I think. Nothing memorable at all. And then I watched New York, which I loved. And then I watched Salt Lake City, which was just fucking fantastic. I mean, just so good. So good. I'm so glad it's back. And I just can't wait. Can't wait.
And Jenna Lyons is like a sympathetic Heather Dubrow. Like, she is the richest and the most powerful, but I feel for her. I believe that she's self-conscious in her skin, but not in a way that I feel like annoyed and upset with Shannon. I feel like, oh, I get it. Like, you have everything and you still have flaws that make you feel
Yeah,
uncomfortable. So you go a day early to take care of yourself.
exactly. And Aaron coming over with like the Jewish mom act, bringing hot soup, and then throwing Jenna under the bus about the first class ticket instead. I thought that was just fucking mean. But what do I expect from someone that donates to money twice to Trump after January 6th? Fuck you, Aaron.
Well, and also, like, I didn't understand the first class argument. I'm like, I don't watch The Real Housewives to see you all fly coach. Like, of course she wanted to fly first class. Like, why is anybody confused or
She's
upset by
6 feet
this?
fucking
Like,
tall.
and as she said, she's
Yeah.
old. She's done with coach. We did that,
Mm-hmm.
like she's a mogul. So fucking, yeah, I would look for the first class seat too, whether it was on the same day or not. We all wind up in the same
Yeah,
place. And the rest of those ladies are capable of changing their reservations
exactly.
too. If you're that pissed off about
I
it,
know. I know.
get on board with
I don't
her,
I
idiots.
I appreciate that Jenna is upfront with her insecurities. I
Yeah.
can't imagine what it's like to live with the condition that she has. The name is escaping me right now. But I either really want to be on Jenna's side, or I feel like, yes, you're right. The difference between Heather Dubrow and Jenna Lyons is she shows us her insecurities. She is very
She had cameras in like the dental
exactly,
surgery room, which made me
exactly.
throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
she's that, and it is weird because all of the other housewives are accusing her of not sharing
yeah,
anything. And it's like, but she's shared with you like the most personal thing, which is this disease that she's carrying with her at all
mhm,
times that affects everything she does and how she sees herself and how she's perceived in the world. Like, what are you
I know,
saying? I
I
don't
know.
know. Do you need to see her like kiss her girlfriend on camera for you to be, I don't know. I feel like they're hard on her. I feel this like deep interest and sympathy for Jenna Lyons, which means within the next 3 episodes she'll
She'll
do
do
something
something to
awful and I'll be
destroy
like,
us. I
fuck
agree.
her. So
Oh my God. Oh, antidepressant of the week. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
you
Okay.
start.
Well, I'm in Portland. A few episodes back, I shared that a man that I consider to be, I considered him to be an uncle. He passed away from a horrible battle with Parkinson's. And I'm up here for his celebration of life. And last night I was at dinner with my mother and my sister and my niece. And I just could not get over how thrilled I was to be having dinner with them. And we all thanked Mark because he's the reason why I'm here. And so I'm staying at my sister's house. My heart is bursting because I'm with my family right now, and it is a massive antidepressant. I'm buoyant. I had a great night's sleep last night. I just can't even stand how happy I am to be here. And I'm so looking forward to the celebration of life on Saturday. And I'm very sad that he's no longer with us. Parkinson's is a horrible, diabolical disease. And I don't think it's fair to want anybody to stay when they're in that stage where he was when he left this mortal coil. He leaves behind people that are incredibly devastated that he's no longer with us, but everyone, I believe, also is very heartened by the fact that he's no longer, trapped by Parkinson's. So,
That's so
mhm,
beautiful. And I do really think, again, from my death doula training
mhm,
during the pandemic, there is like that is the beauty of death, is that everyone who loved this person who's passed finds a way to connect and remember them. And, that's how, in my opinion, that's how people stay alive, is by remembering them and talking about them and saying their name to people who knew him and people who
yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
And if that disease is so cruel, it's merciful in some ways that he's passed, I'm sure, but the pain of
yeah,
just the absence of that, him being here in the flesh,
yeah,
is real.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
my antidepressant. Again, the state of my life is a little lighter these days. So I'm almost embarrassed to share it, but it is something that's making me really happy. So I've been taking this dance class for like 8 months or whatever now. And, I'm old and out of shape. And it was a great, humbling venture to step into that room and show up once a week. The teacher is putting together a show and invited me to
Oh my
dance.
God, Margee!
And I said yes, which I think is like, that's the big news, is that
Yeah.
I said yes. So I don't know. It's just nice to be invited. Like I am truly at this place in my life where like, I don't know, I could very well be injured during a rehearsal because I'm like old and frail and
How dare
whatever.
you?
But but it could happen. But I'm glad that that didn't keep me from saying yes, of saying like, are you sure that you want like an ancient woman? It's just because he said, and he's someone who does know the meaning of community. He's like, it's about like working with a community of people who I've like grown to really care about. And I just want to like put choreography on them.
Oh
And I
my
was like, oh,
God.
that
I love
lovely?
everything
So
about
that's
this.
my
Oh,
antidepressant.
Margee, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yay. Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I just was giddy with anticipation last night that I got to wake up this morning and do this with you. I love you so much, and I'm so happy that
Same.
we get to do this once a week. Yeah,
Yeah. Enjoy your time with your
I
family.
will. I am.
And
Yeah.
and everybody take care of yourselves
Yes,
this week.
please, please. Again, you can reach us at atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. Follow us at A Therapeutic Dose on Instagram. Rate, review, subscribe, and share the show. Tell your friends. And again, we appreciate you hanging out with us as we meet at the intersection of therapy and reality TV. It's a crowded intersection. It's crowded, and it should be. It's a busy fucking intersection. And
Mhm.
it has a green turn arrow even. Okay. That's how good this fucking intersection is. It's worthy of a green turn arrow. All right. Margee, I will see you next week. Listeners, thank you so
I'll see you next
much.
week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Ramona and Margee are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.